Hi, this is not a regular one of my tips and tricks videos. This is just a real quick proof of concept to show how I generate and use map pins in Roll20. So you see here a map of my campaign city. This is High Harbor, and there are a number of tokens on it. You can see that each of the tokens has a name underneath telling you what the name of that place is. And we can go to any one of these, and let's see, let's choose Boondiggle's Emporium. All right, so all I have to do is I have to select that. Let's go to my chat window, and I'm going to go, let's go ahead and clear that chat window. Clear current chat log. If you hear a noise in the background, that is my dog. Like I said, this is just a quick demonstration. Boondiggle's Emporium, you can see that I have here a button called Info. If I click the word Info, an explanation of what that is pops up in my screen or in my chat menu over here, chat window. It contains the name of the place, a description, and an illustration. All the illustrations here are just Google image finds. None of this stuff is used with permission in any way. It's just things I found off of Google image searches, so I wouldn't publish this in any way other than as a demo, as what we're seeing here. But each one of these images, because of the way that Roll20 handles them, you can click on it, it will ask you if you want to open it, and you can open up in a new tab the full high resolution image. So you can see here I found like a magic shop illustration here and used it for Boondiggle's Emporium. I can close that up now, and I'm back on the map. The way I do these is I have a utility token that is called Site for map site. I can pull this in, and you can see that it does not have an icon. What I use for icons is I get these from rpgicons.net, and I can put a link for that in the explanation below. But all I have to do is I open it up. The token is already set to be referred to the character called Site. Now, the only reason I have a character for this is so that I can have a token action called Info that is the same for everything, but everything that is unique about this map pin is going to be on the token. So I can name this Bob's Swords. Bob sells swords. And then I put a description down below. I'm going to call this, I'm going to say Bob is here. He sells swords. And if I wanted to put an image in, all I would have to do is I use the typical Roll20 format. It's taken from Markdown, where you just use a square bracket, some sort of description. Let's just say sword shop, and then open parenthesis, and then I would put the URL of an image here, something I had found online. This is not even stored in your campaign. It is just a web link to someplace where the image is stored online. I would suggest, so that you don't wind up with broken links or leeching off of somebody else's bandwidth, to whenever you find an image you want to put into a map pin, to save it to something like Imager or another online photo storage place. I save changes. You can see that the name of this now is Bob's Swords. I decide that Bob sells swords here on the Avenue of Champions. He's right there, and now because I have the name here, and in the GM notes I have the description, I can press this info button, and all this info button is a call to the API script GM notes created by the Aaron, the arcane scriptomancer. And all it does is it says PC note. I've engineered mine a little bit so that it does not whisper to the GM, but instead can send a note to anybody. I press the, let's get back to the chat. I press the info button, and it says Bob's Swords, If there was an actual image URL in there, we would see an image like we do up above in Boondiggle's Emporium, and there's the description. Bob is here, he sells swords. The only campaign overhead for this is one character sheet called Site, and then just little tiny tokens with just a little bit of text in them. You could have hundreds of these, and they would not severely impact your performance at all, and they would not raise your storage capacity by any appreciable amount. So that's a quick look at map pins. I'll see if I can do a full-length version of this at some point because I think it's a really useful technique.